we can observe that private companies are not just hubs of industry. They are centers of community. And when they are functioning well, connected to the people and places that they serve, we know that the values of a company's leader set the tone for that culture of impact. You may know Marvin Ellison as the global CEO of Lowe's Home Improvement, but I am told that what most defines him are the values instilled in him by his parents, by his deep faith, and by his connection to the 300,000 Red Vest associates at Lowe's and the communities they serve. Marvin believes that there is a genuine passion for helping when people identify a need, and he says he is proud to be part of a movement that brings those values to life every day.
Yes, I grew up in this little small town in Western Tennessee, and we didn't have a lot of financial means, but the one thing that my parents taught us is that even though we didn't have a lot, there were other people who had less than we did. If someone had an issue at home, if they had medical bills they couldn't pay, you would go and volunteer to help out. It was just part of what I thought you were required to do as just a human being, as a Christian, as a citizen, and so it's been a part of who I've been my entire life. One of the things I pray every morning is for God to give me the ability to do something good today to make a difference in somebody's life in a positive way. But every individual can make a difference if you're just willing to take action. One of the things we talk about is what are we doing to make the places where we live and work better. So we have this great program, we call it Lowe's Hometown, where we basically issue 100 grants every year to just improve community spaces. This year, we had 5,000 applications. We had to choose 100 projects. We need organizations like Points of Light to help us not only to understand the need out there, but also to help us to kind of take these requests and narrow it down. Partnerships like this are incredibly meaningful for us because it gives us the ability to make sure that we get it right and that we are using these dollars wisely so we can make the greatest impact to the highest number of people. A couple years ago, I had a grant request from my hometown, my literal hometown in Brownsville, Tennessee. The city hall had come under disrepair. We were able to donate the funds. I was able to go out and volunteer, and my dad was a part of that. I was able to go to my house. He still lives in the same house I grew up in, and I put him in a Lowe sweater, so he and I had the exact same sweater on. We work on the project. My dad is there, the mayor is there, whom I went to high school with. This is small town America. The owner of the local newspaper reaches out and wants to know if there's a photo that he can share. Somehow he gets the photo of me and my dad both wearing these Lowe sweaters, and guess what ended up on the front page of the paper? My dad rarely mails me anything, so I get an envelope, big envelope, and he has a copy of the front page of the newspaper. He and I both on it, both dressed the same, with a simple caption and a note he listed, and that is, now there's no argument who looks better. In this really competitive environment for talent, companies that have active volunteerism, that are committed to philanthropy, companies that stand for something, that matters in this generation as much as the compensation package. I want any Lowe's associate, if someone asks them where they work, I want them to have a lot of pride and a lot of confidence to say that they work for Lowe's. I just want people to hold their heads high when they say they work for this company because of the things that we're doing to make a positive difference.
Welcome 2025 George H.W. Bush Points of Light Award honoree, Marvin Ellison.
Good evening. Well, it's an honor, it's a blessing to be here tonight. As you saw in the video, I've had a wonderful personal journey, and every day I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for favor, grace, and blessings. And my wife and I will oftentimes say that it's a blessing to be a blessing. And so standing here tonight as a recipient of the George H.W. Bush Points of Light Award, it is a humbling and it's a deeply meaningful event. And President Bush believed that a single act of service could create a ripple strong enough to brighten entire communities. And to be recognized in connection with that vision is a significant honor. I'd like to thank so many people. I'd like to thank Jennifer. I'd like to thank Neil. I'd like to thank the Bush family and the Points of Light organization for the recognition and also for carrying this wonderful mission forward. And I know that this is a celebration of individuals who have made a difference, but to me, this is not an individual award. As chairman and CEO of Lowe, I'm blessed, as you've heard, to lead an incredible company of 300,000 employees that we call associates who are committed to uplifting communities nationwide. So tonight, this award represents the wonderful associates that I am fortunate to lead. So to that end, I would like to recognize the Lowe's associates and leaders who are in attendance tonight, if they would please stand to be recognized. Thank you all. We got a lot of payroll here tonight, so I'm not sure. As I've said before, I don't know who's running the company because they're all here. I also want to acknowledge my beautiful wife, Sharon, who's here tonight. Sharon and I have been together, believe it or not, for 39 years. And God has blessed us with 2 wonderful children, but more importantly, He's blessed us to have the ability to be a blessing to others. So Sharon, would you please stand as well? Thank you. And no, she was not 5 years old when we met. She's just not aging for some reason. So Lowe's has a long history, which is a good thing. Lowe's has a long history of doing really important work in the community. So when I arrived at the company in 2018, I thought, how can I help fuel this burning desire to help? That's what inspired us to start this Hometowns program that we launched a few years ago. The idea was to tap into our company's passion for giving back to the places where we live and work. And through volunteerism to grant funding, we thought we could do something really special. So we formed this crucial partnership with Points of Light to get this new philosophy to the community giving off the ground. Our stores teams and our associates poured their hearts into these projects, forming long-term connections throughout their communities. And as you saw in the video, thanks to this initiative, I had a chance to return to my hometown in Brownsville, Tennessee, to be part of that City Hall renovation project. We turned that space into a new home for the police department and for first responders. And as you saw, I toured the site with my dad, who still thinks he looks better than I do. And I have to agree with him, he does, back in my hometown. That guy I met outside was my old football coach. I literally hadn't seen him since graduation day. And he heard I was in town, he stopped by. And so it's hard for me to put into words how impactful that event was. So if you fast forward, Lowe's Hometown program has become the company's most impactful initiative ever. We scaled it and we made it a 5-year, $100 million commitment through 2026. So each year we complete, as you heard, 100 community-nominated projects, but then we complete more than 1,700 projects selected by our heroic associates. It's been an amazing program, and I can tell you right now, folks, we're just getting started. So listen, I'm here tonight for every associate who picked up a shovel at a playground bill. I'm here for every associate who swung a hammer to build a bed for a child sleeping on the floor. I'm here for every associate who applied a coat of paint at a Boys and Girls Club. I'm here for every associate who volunteer their personal time to assist with recovery after a natural disaster. I'm here for every associate who tackles critical home repairs for a senior citizen or a disabled veteran. That work in the community is what we do best at Lowe's, and we're proud of that. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some really special guests we have here tonight. We have leaders from 3 organizations here in D.C. that receive grants through this hometown program. We help Horton's Kids expand their reach to uplift under-resourced youth with a new community center. We supported House the Roof in creating a safer housing for women and families recovering from trauma and homelessness. And we partnered with Rebuilding Together to restore community gardens that are now providing fresh food. So let's have the leaders of those 3 wonderful organizations to stand, please. Thank you all. So these are the stories of real impact that Lowe's is blessed to be a part of. And starting in 2025, we asked ourselves, how can we raise the bar a little higher from a philanthropy perspective and community impact? So this year, we're delivering 10 million square feet of impact. It's just a new way to measure the work that we have always done to support places that we call home. And it's a promise to our neighbors that we will always stand with them in times of need. And I take this promise seriously because philanthropy has always been a part and it's been core to who I am and how I lead. It's how I was raised. As you saw in the video, I came from a big family. I'm the middle child of 7. So growing up in that small town, I could hear my dad say that a clenched fist cannot give nor receive. So I lived my entire life with an open hand because I always understood the importance of giving to others. And I'm blessed that my wife feels the same way. My parents were so instrumental in my success, and they taught me to never let your neighbor go without, even though I was 6 years old before we had indoor plumbing. So we went without many times, but my parents would always say, somebody has it worse than us. So I've carried that lesson throughout my entire life and my entire career. So in closing, at Lowe's, we have a very simple belief. We believe if we give our associates an exceptional place to work, provide our customers with a great place to shop, and make the communities where we live and work better, we will create shareholder value. Therefore, when help is needed in the community, we show up. That's who we are. That's who we will always be. So thank you again for this incredible honor representing the hard-working, wonderful associates at Lowe's. God bless you. Thank you.